Viewers, welcome back. Looking to do something a little bit different today, trying to get away from all of the engine rebuilding madness and do something a little bit different. We are going to try to get some seats in the Datsun. When I got the Datsun, it did come with factory seats. However, one of them is missing a headrest. I am going to be replacing them. I'll show you what I got here, and I think I've got a plan worked out. Factory seats that came with my Datsun, they don't look like they're in too bad a shape. This is the passenger side, so usually this one's better. However, the upholstery is blown out over here. The driver's side seat is up there on the shelf. It is missing a headrest. I have not been able to locate one, but I also haven't been looking that hard. So I found these right here. These are from a 70s Vega, I believe, Chevy Vega. They're reminiscent to like the 240Z seat. At least to me, they kind of look like that. In the middle, this is perforated black cloth, and then the outside is all trimmed with black vinyl. When they're in the car, they actually look pretty nice. I think they're gonna work fine. So the plan that I have here worked out is I actually removed the seat sliders from the factory Datsun seats because I want to use the factory seat support locations. The seat sliders from the Datsun do not match up with the bolt pattern on the bottom of the Vega seats. So my plan is I'm going to make 4 tabs out of 1/8 inch flat stock, drill a hole in them, bolt them to the bottom of the seat, and then set them right on top of this seat track either side, mark them up, and then tack them in place, and then take them out and weld them fully so that the Vega seat will then be grafted to the Datsun sliders. That way everything is in the factory location as far as the support brackets, and the seat will be as low as possible, and the slider will work. I'm gonna run over to the bench, cut up a few pieces of steel, drill some holes, and then we'll get to mocking this up. This is just 1/8 inch thick flat stock. I got this from the hardware store. I think it's inch, or is it inch and a quarter wide. So I think what I'm gonna do is make a bunch of 3-inch long tabs and drill a hole in one side, and then those will be what bolt to the bottom of the seat, and then the blank end will weld to the seat track. Okay, that's one. I need 7 more like it. Quick flap wheeled all of the material off, or any coating off of these tabs that I made. The factory Datsun seat rails, and you can probably see evidence here, I cut off the factory studs which actually bolt to the factory Datsun seat. So someday if I do put those factory seats back in, I'll just have to drill this out and run a bolt in. Not a big deal. Anyway, cut those studs off and ground this down to bare metal on all 4 corners here. I'm going to lay these back in the car, and I'll show you what I'm doing with these tabs. Factory Datsun seat sliders, they go right onto these support brackets, and then there's a piece here in the floor that's the front support. So this is the outside. These just drop right in, and obviously once they're tight, this will pick up and get out of the way. So that's the factory Datsun seat rail. We do have a little bit of adjustment here with these. We can wiggle just a little bit. I'll show you where the tabs go on the seat. Here's the underside of the Vega seats. 4 mounting holes in each corner. This is the original mounting bolt that came out of it. Here's the tab that I made. So my plan is to run these mounting bolts all the way in and let these tabs fly out the side like that on all 4 corners. And then I will set the seat in the car on the rails, and I will make sure that I get it as centered as I possibly can. And then I'm actually going to tack these in place with it in the car. So I will bring my fiberglass blanket in here and cover up all this carpet, but that's the plan. I'll show you what I mean. Just going to zip these down tight. The only one that I may leave loose is the one down here in the corner, just because it gets up against the cover for the recline mechanism. And it looks like with that one, all I have to do is trim this bracket maybe 1/4 inch, and then it can go out. So I may leave that one a little bit loose. So I kick those tabs out to each side, and I'm just gonna zap them on right there. And this one back here under the recliner mechanism is really hard to see. Yeah, we're gonna have to do something a little different with that. But that's the basics of how I'm gonna pull this off. So I'll lower this down until it sits right on top. I think I'm gonna aim for going right above the stud so that the front of the seat should be right in line with where the Datsun seat was, theoretically. And I'm gonna tack those two in, and then I'll figure out what to do with the back. Yeah, you can probably see that tab better now. My goal is to get that front tab essentially lined up just like it is. But I think I need to shift a little bit to the outside of the car, because I cut these tabs just a little bit long, hoping that I'd be able to just kind of shimmy this around. So I think I'll use a vice grip right here to actually hold this. Okay, this one is held in place right where I want it. I'm gonna go over to the other side and see what that one looks like, shimmy that one around and clamp it in place. Then I can drape this whole thing with the fiberglass blanket and zap those on. I got this one onto that tab. Again, I'm gonna measure, so I'm gonna measure from the bolster to, I don't know, the trans tunnel, and then from the bolster to the rocker over there to see if I have this thing centered. Pretty darn close. If I have to, I can adjust it a little bit after the fact. So let's see. I've got as much of this covered with my fiberglass blanket as I can. Got the carpet pulled back out of the way. I'm gonna tack this before I bump it and it shifts again. And then I have to do this whole process over. I think I got a big enough tack on that one. I'm gonna jump over to the other side. All right, just like the other side, I've got it pretty much right where I want it. So I'm gonna tack it in there before anything else moves. All right, I'll get this out of the car and get it welded up. So these should be reasonably close to the same dimensions. A lot of these they're still square, so I am gonna hit these with the flap wheel to just make them a little less sharp. A couple of corners here. And then I'll hit this with a little bit of black paint, bolt them on the seats, and the seats are going in. Fresh coat of D1635 on there. So these are flipped around. Anyway, I'll let this paint dry up. I'm gonna bolt them to the seats and then drop them in the car. All bolted up to the Vega seats. I'm gonna set these in the car. I'll run a couple of nuts down on these studs here so they don't shift around, and I'll get you guys a look in there. So here are the seats bolted in the car. Oops. So they do look nice and low, which should be good. Don't worry, they look a little out of alignment, I think, because the passenger side backrest is up a little bit. So this was just a quick project, not a ton of measuring, just a little bit of mock-up, and then a tiny bit of welding and drill a few holes. So I'm gonna sit down in here and see what they look like, see what they feel like. From inside the car, this I think is like very close to the center seat position. So this is all the way up, and this is uncomfortable, but all the way back, oh yeah, man. This is it right here. Oh, finally, you guys. Right? That is what this car is going to be doing all the time. The Datsun is basically grease lightning. Did test fit in them. They feel pretty good. They look to be the right height. They're centered pretty well. Looks like they're straight and square. Can't see anything through the front because this thing's dirty. So, thank you so much for watching. This is where we're going to end this time. Just a short and sweet little video trying to get some stuff checked off the list. I am waiting for parts on the engine. When those get here, I will finish editing and then upload the other engine videos. But later on this weekend, we are going to push this thing outside and power wash it, vacuum the inside out, put the carpet back in, and continue wet sanding. So again, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.